Ladies and gentlemen, this video is different. I just did all the work, but I did not record the video. So instead of me doing it again, we're just going to go through all of my answers and I'll explain to you what I did. Now let's begin. So number one right here, we had to find out dy dx, and that's just y prime over x prime, right? So x prime is going to be derivative of this 2t, and y prime is derivative of 2 sine, which is 2 cosine. So 2 cosine of t over 2t is the answer. It can be reduced to cosine of t over t. Do you have to? No, but it's going to help for the future stuff. Moving on. So find the second derivative right here. So you already found the first. The way to do second is you derive it again on, and that's the top, and then divide it by x prime. Why? We can talk the proof later. We did. So this is right here. This is my reduced form. It's going to be a quotient rule. So f prime, so negative sine of t times t minus cosine of t times 1 over t squared. And then all of that over the x prime, which was 2t, because that was what it was before we reduced. So you got to watch out for that. Now, this is okay format, but that's gross. So I'm going to put the 2t like together, and so I can rewrite it like here. Negative sine of t times t minus cosine of t over 2t cubed. All right, that's the cleanest looking answer. Moving on. Write an equation of the tangent line at pi over 4. So what's happening here is you have to do the slope-intercept form equation right here. I got to get my slope m, and the x1, y1 points. M is just your derivative at that point. So we found out dy dx was cosine of t over t. So we're plugging in pi over 4, so it's cosine of pi over 4 over pi over 4. And, I mean, do you have to simplify that? I guess not, but let's do it. So cosine of pi over 4 is square root of 2 over 2. And then times, I'm going to say the reciprocal of this, 4 over 10. I cancel out this 2, reducing with the 4. So the simplest answer is 2 square root of 2 over pi. That's my slope. Now to find the x and y, if my t is this, I just plug it into this equation. So you get x equals pi squared over 16, so 4 squared, pi squared over 4 squared, minus 5. I'm just leaving it like that. And the y is going to be 2 times sine of pi over 4, so 2 times square root of 2 over 2. 2's cancel, so it equals square root of 2. So plugging that in, y minus square root of 2 equals 2 square root of 2 over pi times x minus this whole thing, pi squared over 16 minus 5. You can leave it like that. I would not simplify anymore. I know it's gross, but I just kind of made up these problems so they don't have nice looking answers. Moving on, find the arc length of parametric equations. So the arc length formula is square root of x prime squared plus y prime squared from your limits a to b. So my limits are going to go from 1 to 3 of the square root of 2t squared plus 2 cosine of t squared dt. If you plug that into a calculator, I'm going to show you what it looks like here. I'm going to turn the calculator back on. And you can see in my work I did above here. These are the future problems. It was this problem right here. You plug it in. I just said, hey, 2t squared is 4t squared. And then did it all, and it came out to 8.296. So that's your answer. All right, we're going to move on to the final problem. Find the area under the curve for this polar function between 0 and theta, or 0 and pi. Show the integration setup. So the formula is 1/2 alpha to beta of r squared d theta. So it's going to be, 1/2 0 to pi of 3 plus cosine theta squared. You plug that into a calculator, and I'll show you what my calculator looks like right now. Oh, that was a balloon. Missed me. Anyways, you plug that into the calculator, 3 plus cosine of x squared. Did I do that correct? Yeah, the parentheses match up. 19 pi over 2, if you ever calculate, does it this way, but you probably have a decimal calculator. So it's 29.845. You're like, hey, that's right. That's not right, because I forgot the 1/2. It's easy to forget that. So you multiply it by 1/2, that becomes 19 pi over 4 instead, and half of 29.845 is about 14.923. There you go. We are all done. I recorded this time in record time. Good luck.